So, hello everyone. Welcome to Adaptive Toys Children meeting 11. I'm pretty sure it's 11 because I labeled the Zoom meeting as 10, but I'm pretty sure it's 11. I don't remember. The time doesn't have any meaning anymore this semester. Apparently, we're almost at the end. Anyway, so yeah, today we'll be going through some quick updates. We'll have not really a learning session, but more of like a brainstorming session on maybe a place where we can hold our future meetings. The reason I didn't hold the Autism Acceptance Month presentation this week is because I'm still waiting to get some approval for that, but hopefully that'll be out by next week. And yeah, then we'll just get into groups and we'll see how it goes this week. So yeah, our tabling event, in case you didn't know, is happening from this Friday, April 16th to next Tuesday, which is April 20th. That will be from 1 to 3. And we have a few like varying locations. So like Fridays, we'll always be in the Honors College throughout all 5 of these days. Friday will be at CL50. And then Saturday through Monday will kind of be like varying between the engineering mall and the engineering fountain. So not that far of a distance. If you want to come out, come say hi. We will be collecting donations and giving out food and snacks in exchange for those donations. And we'll also be promoting our club to new members. So if there's anyone who you think might be interested in the club, you can tell them to come by or bring them by, and we'll talk to them and give them our pitch. We'll be showing off toys, our button project, and a few other things. So yeah, it'll be hopefully be fun. Another thing, we could still use a couple members to help run the tables. Mostly like, actually we could, depending on the day, yeah, we could definitely use a couple more members to help running the tables. But if you're interested in that, just let me know and group me or stay after the call to let us know. And a reminder, there are only 2 more meetings left. Next week is going to be the last like quote unquote regular meeting. So like we'll be holding our meeting at the next Monday like usual with another learning session and everything. And then throughout that week, we will be returning toys and stuff like that, all the materials that everyone has. So that the week after, we can go over what we did this semester and what we have planned for next semester, because there will probably be a good amount of changes in terms of how we do things. So yeah. Part of that is a new meeting room. So the officers have been talking about finding a new home for ATC, whether that is going back to our old meeting room or possibly finding a new one based on places that we've currently found, or places that maybe you guys know about. So we want to take this opportunity to maybe get some member input and at least maybe get a good place to start, because I'm going to start emailing people this week on where we could potentially be meeting up next week or next year. So yeah, I just figured we might as well get some member input, see if anyone has any preferences or suggestions on rooms we can go into or things we can consider. In case you were here for the learning session, I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks ago, we held like an ATC past and future kind of presentation where we went over where we learned in the past. So this is just a little bit of that. We were based in MGL in our first year and a half, I believe. This worked really well. I had a lot of open space. It came with its own soldering irons and computers. It was a really good space to work in. However, MGL unfortunately got torn down and is currently the large building under construction over by Walk, in case you didn't know. Our second room was the Boilermaker Lab. This is actually a pretty good area. It comes with its own 3 printers, which I believe were free to use with some precautions. The problem is it's a little small. This picture makes it look pretty long, but it's a bit inconvenient to use, at least with the number of students that we have at the moment. So if all else fails, we could fall back on this room. But I am hopefully looking for something more with more open learning space for everyone. So yeah, that just kind of like ties into what I have here over on the left. So kind of like, you know, how people are, people have like their kind of set of like preferences for when you're buying houses. Some are more required than others. So like, that's why I have this little house owners logo here for fun. But yeah, so like we're hoping for like a lot of open table space, because a lot of what we do is like workshop based. You know, you want to have like a table with all your tools out. We want to have enough space so that like about 20 or so members could work in that space, which, more than Make It a Lab had, but we could use a little bit more of. Something not far from Kanoi or Stu, because I'm going to go over that later, but we basically have to lug our materials back and forth. We're going to be doing that weekly, and we're in person, so definitely not far from there. Computers would be nice. I know like we tend to do a lot of research while we work, and having a presentation area where I could give more slides in person would be nice to have as well. And something that actually is less known to students, but is kind of self-explanatory, is designated by Purdue as a lab space. So like that basically involves like proper ventilation and stuff like that for when we ever do soldering and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, those are just some factors to consider. Another thing, reiterating the location. So we want to kind of keep it to an area that's not super far from everyone. Kanoi is a little inconvenient just because it's kind of like the very far right end of campus away from all the dorms. But we will generally be keeping it in this engineering mall sort of area, preferably close to Stu, because that is where our materials are being held, and the cart is a throwback for some students. That is what we use to lug our materials around. We used to have an old one with broken wheels. It was very annoying to move around, but now we have one that's hopefully easier. Haven't used it much yet, but yeah, just kind of keeping that in mind as we choose potentially a new room. All the materials from there. All our stuff will hopefully be kept in Stu by next year, because most of it got locked in Dr. Ann's office, and she's not really there at the moment because she's protecting herself. She got her second COVID shot today, so good for her. But yeah, hopefully she'll be back on campus next semester and help us out with moving all the materials. In any case, that's just some rambling. Now I was hoping maybe we can get to a little bit more of an interactive segment. We were hoping to get a little bit of member input through this. If not, it's okay. We have a good amount to work off of, like by next semester. So like, yeah, hold on, let me just set this up. So we do have like a couple factors to consider, and I figured I'd ask everyone, like, what do you think? Is there anything else that we should be considering? Is there anything that you like to work with when you're working on toys or something like that? Like any factors that we didn't consider, or do you know any rooms potentially from classes or other labs that you've done that you might know of in the past? So yeah, I mean, I'm opening up to you guys to maybe give your input if you know a place that might work well.
I think it's Lily has like a ton of labs in it. It's like it's still on like the south side of campus, but it's a little bit down State Street from Stu.
Right.
But it would essentially be like a straight shot.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that there's a lot of labs in there, so that could be an option.
Okay.
It's also like a huge building. I didn't realize how big it is.
I've been there like twice, and I know what you're talking about. It is very big.
It's so easy to get lost in there.
Ooh, maybe a con. We don't want members getting lost. So was an MGL. MGL was very easy to get lost in for a bit. But yeah, that's something to consider. Definitely like easy lab space, a bit of a walk for some students, and definitely maybe for the cart. But that could work. Actually, maybe not for the cart. It's kind of the same level.
I know Potter has some engineering labs as well. It's like the engineering building specifically, so it might have some available lab spaces. Like I have my ECE lab in there, and it's decent space, but I'm sure there's probably some other things.
Is that like
I'm
20?
not sure about the availability. Yeah.
Is that like 207?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. That could work. Yeah, a lot of these will depend on availability and like when they hold classes and stuff like that. For example, like I have Kanoi 258 here. That's where we're currently adapting our toys. We're able to use that space fitting within their specific guidelines, but those guidelines could potentially change. Potter could be good. Their space is a little tricky. At least at least in the lab I'm thinking of. I'm not sure what else they have. But these are good though, guys. Keep them coming if you have them. The ones in bold up here are mainly just for like things that are pretty much required. Like we can maybe flex a little bit on location or like table space or maybe even overall space, but it does need, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it should just generally be like a lab space for us to be able to use our tools and all that stuff.
Do you think there would be anything in the physics building?
Physics. Maybe. Oh, maybe. I haven't been there. I haven't been there in a while either.
Yeah.
Physics could work though.
It's also like not super close, but I don't know. I'm just looking at like academic buildings that I know have labs.
Right. Physics actually isn't that far, all things considered. Well,
Yeah. I mean, I'm like thinking about moving the cart in the winter.
oof, yeah. Honestly, I
Um,
might just carry it if that was the case. I've
but
done that
you could take it straight through Weatherall and then
too.
straight through Walk, straight through ME, straight through MSEE, and you're in the physics building.
Yeah, it's that simple.
I mean, that's how I get on campus in the winter.
Or yeah, like I
It
know.
is, yeah, it's a little far, but also a place that has a decent number of labs. So.
Double E
Could
has a
consider.
lab built
As a lab.
like the double E building.
Okay.
Like on the first floor, it's like relatively open space. I know there's a like a slide thing that you can do. I think it meets most of those old things.
I think that the labs in Double E are kind of hard to book, but
That makes
you can
sense.
give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
exactly sure.
What do you mean hard to book, Andre?
Because there are a few labs that are like specific for classes and like they're not open to public, and the others that actually I'm not sure which ones like are available for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've never seen the EE labs being used for other things apart from like EE labs.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to think because a lot of the areas I know of, like Armstrong has a couple labs, but nothing like easy to access, I don't think. ME, I don't even know if ME has any labs. They're mostly lecture halls as far as I know. In separate classes. But yeah, those are some ideas. I think actually Lily might be a good shot. It's actually not that far now that I think about it. Basically down the street. It just might be a little far for everyone else. But like I think if we have a good amount of options, that could work.
Yeah, I feel like the good thing about Lily is there's so many labs. Like there wouldn't be a loss if they let us use one, you know?
True. Yeah, I guess in terms of the labs I know of for sure, like with Kanoi 258, they have, I'd say the location's decent. They definitely have a lot of open space, just not a lot of
Yeah,
tables.
is Kanoya 258 the lab for 207?
No, no,
Oh,
that's at least not that I know of. It's like a Polytech lab.
all right.
That's just like they have a few open tables and a lot of tools that we're able to use. So that would be like a nice plus, but like I don't think they have it's a weird layout and I don't think there would be a lot of areas for us to sit. I'm not sure if that's just because of COVID. I could ask because if there are a lot of tables there, then that might be that might have been the only thing that was holding it back. But Lily could work too. I might honestly just walk by some of these places and see what they're like. Um, I know what Potter looks like, and I think I might know what physics and EE look like. I'm not sure though. But yeah,
Yeah, there's a STEAM lab in the honors building, but I don't know if that's like an official lab or not. But it has a lot of tables and stuff.
Okay. You said STEAM lab?
Yeah. In South.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are good options. And is there any other factors or, okay, I guess like last call, are there any other factors or locations that anyone has in mind? I tried going over what we used in the past, but maybe some newer member has an idea of like, oh yeah, we've never used this before. I don't know. All right. In any case, that's pretty much sums it up for that. I didn't really have too much else there. This was a pretty short weekly learning session. As you could probably tell, we've run you through like a lot of the material that we wanted to run you through. Anything else, well, not anything else at this point is extra, but a lot of what we do at this point is extra and just kind of nice to hopefully get you feeling more involved in whatever capacity you can in the midst of a pandemic. But yeah, so I will start sharing, or no, I will start getting us into breakout rooms. Andre and Madison, I'll make you co-hosts real quick.
Cooper, do you think it would be more useful if like Caroline and I just like joined another group to give our input? Because I really don't know what else we could do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think the group project has much to discuss as well. Because we've kind of like wrapped up the project for this semester, and we're just looking at testing the button, but that's going to take a long time, so we're pushing that to next semester anyways.
Right, okay. In that case, then here's what I'll do. I'll say, officers, you guys, we have to stay on until the end anyway, but other members, if you want to work on your toys, or those who like officers and other members, to those who have toys, you're more than welcome to work on them. And the rest of us can just, I guess, discuss all that.
Yeah, I guess we could open up a breakout room for the button project, but then we'll join back the main session later.
Okay. Sure. Oh wait, if I make one breakout room, I think I have to, or actually no, I can make one.
I think you can just open it and let people join if they want. Yeah. Then John and Kate can join it.
Okay.
Or anyone else if they feel like it as well.
Yeah, so this will just be for, I guess, the toy room and anyone else, and the other one will be the button room. Oh, and as I do this though, Andre, I realized that what you guys want to do with the button is a lot like what we do, or at least what we kind of test for in one of our machine design classes in ME. So like, I might ask my professor on Wednesday if she knows of any like cyclic loading testers, like ways to test machines and stuff under like
repetitive tests,
loading conditions.
Yeah.
So do you think that's something you could use?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, like if that way you wouldn't have to like make anything.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we were thinking that maybe like Purdue would have some sort of tester, but we have no clue where to find that.
Right. My professor might. I'll ask her after class on Wednesday.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Opening up the room for you guys.
All right, thank you.
The rest of us, I think, can just stay in here. That shouldn't be a problem. Right. Do anyone have any questions on their toys by chance?
Oh, Cooper, did you ever get the email back from whoever it ended up being about like what to do about the stories on the penguin thing?
Oh, I didn't. She Rachel at class didn't get back to me after like that brief respite. I would say maybe focus on other features for now. Like ignore the story thing, pretend like we're not even gonna go for that. And And if you can find the way to get the other things properly wired, then just focus on those, I'd say.
Okay.
Caroline, I stole 3 more screwdrivers from my dad, and none of them were able to get the screw out of the bubble machine. So,
No. Oh my gosh.
I think I'm going to Purdue this weekend. So I'm gonna try one of our screwdrivers and then maybe give it to Cooper and he can try drilling it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Works
Yeah. And I'm
screw
hoping I
apart.
should be able to be here next week, but next week I have 2 exams, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. So I'll try to be here, especially if you can get it open.
Mhm. If not, I'd say like don't stress yourself out coming if you have 2 exams.
Yeah, exams are priority.
Yeah, because I don't know what else we could really do without being able to open it because we pretty much already have the document formatted and stuff.
Yeah, and like we've seen the videos, so we know what to do. We just gotta like make sure it's right with that specific toy and put it together.
Exactly. But
Madison, Caroline, will you guys be able to meet up in person next year or next semester?
yes,
Yeah,
I will be
I'll
on
be
campus.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So maybe you guys can just, I mean, that'll be like, it won't even really, I mean, it can still stay an instructions team, but it can also just be like a straight up adaptation team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we could get it done in like 1 or 2 meetings once we can open it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, instructions, I'm honestly not sure how we can work that in next year because like in terms of, hold on, like in terms of how we delegate which toys get instructions, like I don't want to like make every member have to make a set of instructions, but we could have someone who like just takes them from other, like who, like a designated person to make instructions. I don't know, like based on what other members have done.
Yeah. We could just have like, if you adapt a toy, write down like generally what you did. And if you want to, you can either formalize those instructions or hand them off to someone else to formalize them. But I'd say like kind of ask everyone to just give an outline of what they did to adapt the toy, like 5 bullet points. And maybe like a few pictures.
I feel like we should.
Like I don't think that's a lot to ask.
The only things we need is like which function you adapt and where did you like have to solder to do this adaptation, and I think like those are the 2 main points only that
Yeah.
we really need from someone who's adapting the toy, and maybe like a picture of the place they soldered. That would be really nice.
Right. I mean, whoever makes the instructions will be able to take all the pictures. Am I frozen?
After of the wiring.
I liked out there for a
Yeah, I feel
second.
like that should be pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then if someone wants to make the like the proper instruction, like a whole page instruction, then someone else could do it, I guess.
Yeah. We could even like make a template for instructions and just be like, put a picture of your toy here, put your steps here, put the tools required here, and a brief toy description here, and then they just have to fill in like 5 sentences and a couple pictures and it's done.
Yeah. And whoever is in charge of instructions can just review that, make sure it's thorough enough, and then anyone can follow along. Because there are a number of like safety steps that need to go into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even if we just have the members like plug in the basics and then we go and like clean it up, make a nice fill in fluff.
Right. How these groups will translate into in-person will be interesting. And I'm actually excited to talk about that. Like at our last meeting, when I talked about like what we're doing next semester, hopefully I'll have like a room in mind, what groups will we doing,
Mhm.
how we'll run things. We still have a good amount of toys to work with. And if we run out, then we will buy more or take donations. We'll see. Is there anyone that's currently working on anything? We can call the meeting early if that's it. All right. Yeah, if you're not working and you're not an officer, you're free to go. we're pretty much done for the day.
Thank you. I'll see you next week, maybe.
See ya. Good luck in your exams. Well,
Good luck on your exams.
I have a
Okay,
quick question.
also,
Yeah.
I
You can
think
go
a couple
first.
weeks, oh, sorry. A couple weeks ago, you mentioned like doing the car or like the big, taller toy car thing, and we went over like learning session of like how to adapt those. Is that going to be a thing next semester?
That's a good point. That would be something that we'd probably like start next semester. I'm not sure actually. We'd have to obviously like get the funds to purchase a car. It's going to be a thing to some degree, I think. We have to work out like the logistics of it.
Yeah, I think it mainly depends on if we can acquire a car.
Yeah.
it's like one of those toy cars, right? Like the small ones you like drive around. Okay, so like theoretically, if I could like get one of those super into this club, they think it's so cool. Would that be like an option? Could I just like, because like I'm from Colorado, so they would be able to donate a car, but they could donate like money to get one. Because I was telling them all about it, and they just like they think it's really cool. So would that theoretically work?
I think so. Sorry, I like that at the very start of that. Who would you be getting that from?
Oh, my parents. My parents like because I worked a lot with a special ed department in high school, and they're trying to do something similar back at my school. So I was like, oh, like we're trying to work on something similar with the car here. And then if we would be able to like get the instructions for how we did it and send it back to like my special ed program back home, then they would really enjoy that.
Yeah, if there's anyone who wants to like learn from what we do, by all means, and yeah, I think it could work, definitely. Why am I lagging so much?
Okay, I will talk to them.
And that one, would we be doing it for the school, or are we gonna like have one kid that we're adapting that for?
Yeah, that's the thing. So there's a lot that we have to work out. I asked Rachel what she thought of, hold on. I asked Rachel what she thought of like having us donate cars to her like that. She said, I think she took my wording incorrectly. I meant to ask like, do you have a use for it at class? And she said, yeah, there's a bunch of families I know who could use it, like families like separate from the school on their own at home. So we would need, that would be kind of like a thing where we need a guaranteed like end user for that. I think a good amount of this we might need to do like either now or over the summer. Just like I say over the summer because that's probably when I can best talk to Rachel. But just find out like who's taking this. I want to coordinate with Reagan more if she's still interested in the club to like, because she was the one who pitched this to us. So maybe she might be on board like to work on it, or at the very least give advice if I let her know. I'd say though it's a safe bet. We just have a lot to work out. I want to maybe minimize the amount of logistics that go into it before next semester. That way interested members don't have to like email people and figure out the boring stuff, like funding it. Like ideally we'd have like the car here, who's taking it, and then just like give it to someone to work on with the process and everything, or at least maybe like Reagan to give advice beginning of next semester. But I'm not sure how much of that we can get done.